Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I want to talk about a free app that I've seen all over YouTube called Learning Languages with Netflix, and I want to show you how to download it, how to use it, and how I personally integrate it into my own language learning routine. And maybe after that I will also show you some of the shows that I like so that you can get some recommendations as well. So the first thing that you will need to do is to go to your Chrome browser and then to Google Learn Languages with Netflix and just look that up. And after that, just go to the link and download the extension. It's pretty easy. And then it will redirect you to this page, which obviously says that the setup is complete. And after that, you can just go to Netflix and look for a show that you like. I'm going to choose La Casa de Papel or Money Heist, and then it's going to ask you what language is your native language because it's going to translate to that. And you can obviously change it to other languages on the translation language option. So one of the coolest things about this app is that it actually gives you a wider variety of audio and subtitles that you would otherwise have. Another interesting feature of the app is that you can change the playback speed. 0.7, 0.8 are pretty slow, and then you have normal, and then you have faster speeds like 1.75. And honestly, I just use it at normal because that's how people speak, but if you need to change it in either direction, you can do that. So in terms of what you're looking at in the screen, the thing on the right side is the script of the entire episode, and the thing below are basically the translation language that we chose, which is English, and the subtitles that we chose, which in this case was Spanish. And so the next thing that you can do is hover on any of the words on the script or on the double subtitles, and you will see a definition. And the next thing that you can do is to click on the links that are found below, and this will redirect you to word reference, Reverso, and other dictionaries in which you can find helpful information about the particular word that you are hovering on. So guys, that is all the information on how to download the app and how to use it. And now I'm going to show you how I personally use this particular app and integrate it in my own language learning routine. One thing that I would like to point out is that there is a difference between shows with original audio and shows that are dubbed. Shows with original audio are generally harder to understand just because they contain a lot more slang, idioms, and the voices are pretty organic, which is good because it mimics how a native speaker would speak. However, the phrases sometimes get smooshed together or they are said in a very fast way, so it is way harder to understand what the characters or actors are saying. Another thing with original audio that you will have to take into account is that depending on the country where that show was made, the vocabulary is going to change slightly. Overall though, you will be fine learning Spanish from any type of show, regardless of the country. However, I do want to remind you that slang is probably the thing that's going to differ the most. Now, the advantage of Netflix is that it has plenty of shows that were made in other languages, and you can find these original shows by just going to the search bar and typing the name of your target language. So as an example, I'm going to type French, and as you can see, it spits out movies that were originally made in French and TV shows as well. So now I'm just going to choose this movie, which is originally in French, and I would usually wait until there is a word in the dialogue that I don't know. But for the sake of this example, I have already chosen the word meuf, which is slang for girl or woman in French. One of the good things about learning languages with Netflix is that it even recognizes slang like this. So when you hover on the word, you can see that meuf is translated to chick or girl, which would be the equivalent in English. As you can see, it even has sample sentences on how to use the word, and guessing from what I am seeing here, it draws all of those sentences based on the dialogue. So I guess it just takes every single time that word is used in the dialogue, and then it puts it all in this very tiny and neat usage example, which are the ones that you can see in the screen. So after identifying a word that I don't know, I then will go to my trusted language notebook. In this case, I will go to the French section and I will put it at the very bottom. So just because I've gotten some questions in terms of how I make this list, I want to make a few pointers in terms of this particular app, which is Notability. I also make lists of about 10 to 14 words a day per language, and each list takes me about 45 minutes to an hour. Another thing that I do is that sometimes I learn expressions or idioms, and in order to designate that, I write an S next to my clue, which is the English part on the right side. And in that way, I know that the correct answer is a phrase and not just one vocabulary word. And I do exactly the same thing with slang. I write an I next to my clue, and in that way, I know that that word is only used in informal settings. So going back to how I log in the original word that I got from Netflix, which was meuf, the first thing that I do is I divide the page in two. On the left side, I write the term I am learning, and on the right side, I write the definition. Because this is a slang, I am going to also write an I on top of the definition. And sometimes I write sample sentences if I don't understand how to use the word in context. I basically repeat that process 14 to 10 times. So I write terms that I'm learning that I get from Netflix on the right side, and I write the definitions on the left side. After I finish the list, I review all the terms, and I do this by covering the left side of the list and then just trying to remember the new terms based on the definitions on the right side. I will review all of the terms regardless of whether they're right or wrong for about a week so that they get solidified in my brain. And if I keep on getting a term consistently wrong, then I will just underline that term and I will continue reviewing it for the following weeks. So guys, as you saw from the video, I mainly draw vocabulary from Netflix shows. However, I've heard that other people do different things because they have different goals. So people who want to ameliorate their pronunciation, for example, they just take 5 minutes of a movie and they focus on those 5 minutes and they basically just repeat whatever the actor is saying. Now with learning languages with Netflix, it will be pretty easy for you to do that because you already have the script available, which means that you can read along with the actors. So finally guys, I just want to give you some recommendations of Netflix shows or movies that have actually struck a chord. So I'm going to go through each of the languages. For Spanish, I really liked Vis-a-Vis, which is a Spanish show. I liked Durante la Tormenta, which is a Spanish movie. And I like Rosario Tijeras, which is a Colombian show. For English, I really liked Avatar, How to Get Away with Murder, and One Day, which is a movie. For French, I really liked the movie Blue is the Warmest Color. For German, I liked the show Dark. For Italian, I liked the shows Baby and Ordinary Heroes. For Portuguese, I like the show Coisa Mais Linda. And for Catalan, I absolutely loved and adore one of the best shows I've seen. It was so good, Merli. So even if you don't know Catalan or you're not learning Catalan, I thoroughly recommend it. So that's it for the video guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and in the comments down below, I really want to know what are the Netflix shows that you watch on the daily, which ones are the ones that have struck a chord with you. And please leave us any recommendations of any shows in a foreign language that you would like to share with us, and I will see you next time guys.